have a look at the stuff on the 22nd of April. We're 6 days away from the 100k buy. And yeah, my Friday stream. I am gonna stream on Friday, even though I am getting a flight, but it's gonna be half an hour earlier, so the normal time that I did it, 11 a.m. UK time, 10 a.m. UTC, and then that's gonna be the normal time that I'm gonna do my streams the week after Dubai because I'm gonna be in Malaysia, so I'm still gonna try and stream, but it's gonna be at the half an hour before. So, yes, we are doing the trend change. We have got above this right now, and we bullishly backtested it. We're currently at the high, which we're kind of above at the moment. We got one close above. This will be the next one. Interesting to see if we can clear this resistance, and then possibly find. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is from all the way back there. Might actually take this off. Because I feel like if we clear this block here, which we've been talking about for just a little while, then yeah, we could just come see like that, and then do the big retrace. That would be quite nice, and that would also be trend change. We actually have done the trend change after we gained this, and bullishly backtested that. So there's a lot of liquidity underneath this wick here, sort of like here. And the Q2 is untested, so we need to keep those in mind if we do start breaking out. But yeah, it's looking pretty good, and yeah, ever since here, we've just been like, yeah, we've gained that. We're probably going to go and see this, and then if we gain that, we're going to go see that, and it's going to be pretty decent. Oh, what am I doing? No, stop. Stop it. So yeah, that's Bitcoin very, very quickly, and I usually I would say that this would be a short, but just looking at the long to short ratio makes me not want to short it, especially as the market is in such a heavy downtrend. Obviously, if we do this now, it's going to be like, of course, we're going to backtest this, but I just don't really feel you could definitely punt a short. Like I wouldn't be mad at you for doing it, as your stop could literally be like 1% or the risk is fine, and we are at resistance, but just looking at the long to short ratio and everything, it's not the most high conviction play. It's definitely a play though. Don't get me wrong. We have we got 3 wicks into the band and W reversal. We haven't broken this supply zone yet. We are above the swing though, so that's what makes me feel like if this 4 hour candle closes below, then we have something to talk about. But apart from that, yeah, just gig along this zone and just be careful with short in here. You can short, just make sure your stop's tight. And yeah, we'll do ETH quick and then we'll have a look at deep because we were looking at deep yesterday as being something that potentially is looking very nice. Now ETH, we did talk about this on yesterday. I do just want to reiterate that this weekly chart does look pretty bottomed, or at least to go up and test like sort of these levels up here, 1850, 1900. I think in the short term that's what we're gonna see. Um, what kind of move is that? About a 20% move. Yeah, that seems about right. We have the bull div. It hasn't played out yet. It's just lagging behind a little bit, isn't it? And yeah, that's really all I have to say on ETH is that this weekly chart is pretty giga bombed. And it's like if we do that, we could either come down for the double bottom and get the green dot, or we could gain it and then all of this liquidity above is accessible to us. And then you could do like a macro stuber from here, and I think that's where that would probably top it off for me. Yeah, anywhere in between the yearly open and sort of like 300. But yeah, could be getting quite fun and interesting soon. It would be so great if we pumped into 100k on the 100k buy. So yeah, Sol. No, let's look at deep. Deep. Oh my God! Would you look at that? Would you look at that? So wait, did Sui pump as well then? What did Sui do? Okay, Sui's only up 5%. Deep's up. Whoa. Oh wow. That's really nice. Um, yeah, this is really good. Damn. Are you long on this, Suze? Obviously, we're going to see some resistance here in March. Let's just go into like the really small time frames. This is probably going to like just bar back down into the yearly. I wouldn't be surprised. But now, this block here, which extends all the way through here, is just an area to potentially hold now in there. So yeah, looking really good. This is a definite trend change on the daily and probably the weekly time frame. This was consolidation block. This was the low. This is the gain. This gain candle. We're going to come back down and bullishly backtest it. That's good for you to long anywhere. Lovely stuff, mate. Love it. In the real short term on this, there's literally nothing that you can do. Like, I would not short it here. If it comes back up to the March, then yeah, it's a possible short if some parameters are met. But you're really just in the middle of no man's land right now. And the next play would probably be longing sort of like 9.7 to 10 cent, and then again, if you got down in between 8 and 8.4 ish. But yeah, really nice. I'm in scan mode for all the tokens available on Hyperliquid, as that's what I'll be trading now. Some of them have very interesting PAs. Yeah, Zeus actually knows some of the. I mean, he knows the platform the most. But I remember when when Hyperliquid came out, and I wasn't even using the exchange, and I was looking at the coins on there, and loads of them were just doing like 50% in a day. So you're right, there is probably going to be some nice plays there. One thing I also do like about Hyperliquid is that like some people might hate the 3x cross max, but I think it manages the amount of liquidations and like obviously like people aren't going stupid leverage and just like full porting their shit. Do you know what I mean? They're accumulating positions on 3x cross, which I think might be helping a little bit. Grabbed 100 night because of you and Max yesterday, up 3%. Stonks. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good one, man. Uh, that was probably a very high conviction trade. Like Nike and, for example, like the Popcat short, like things like that. It's better to just like really smash a few trades that you do with a high conviction, with a high like margin, rather than like try and get in so many different like little bits and try and catch a little bite of everything. And then it just makes life so much easier for you. You don't have to sit on the charts all day. You can actually have some sanity. I hope 100k hit for you guys at the party. Yeah, that would be so sick. Was wanting an entry, never got one to be honest. Yeah, I kind of was wanting a little bit low on Nike, but I think it's still a good buy right now. I actually, you know what? I was actually watching Nike when I think Max might have smashed like 100k in or something. But yeah, this is looking good, and I'm pretty happy with the call. I think we're gonna come as at least like 75 minimum on this, bro. Like this is the easiest trade of your life. And yeah, it's pretty happy days. And you can still buy some. It's not like you've lost the thing. Like the absolute low that you could have bought some was there, so you're about 6% off the low. Yeah. Or you could just slightly wait for the little retest here, and you could accumulate it in between 55, 6, and 54 ish around there. You just set some limits or something. But yeah, this is just a very simple, easy trade up to sort of like the yearly open, 40% ish, which is fine. And then you can like sell half your bag and then just keep the rest, which is earning you dividends. But yeah, anyway, wanting energy. I started a small long and deep yesterday at 088 0088. Nice, bro. You must be eating pretty good then. Steak for dinner? Steak for dinner, maybe? Yeah. And then hopefully you had a couple TPs in between like 3, 13, and 14 cent. That would have been very, very nice to wake up to. No position, no T, small position, no TPs. Oh, okay. No worries. You can build that. You can build that out when you come back down. You can definitely build that out a little bit. You maybe take like one or two. I know it's a small position that you should probably take a little bit off now, just because when it comes back down, it could come all the way to your entry. It could literally come all the way to your entry, and then yeah, it's just good trading etiquette to do that. Oh, that was bad deep. Okay, non-like fair play. Yeah, yeah, me too. I was looking at that with interest. I think the entry was on that little touch here. This one, literally at 6 p.m. yesterday, last night. But I kind of wanted it to literally just go a little bit lower. I got a bit greedy actually into that weekly. To be fair, that is 3%, so I can see why I would have wanted to wait for it last night, and that's why I didn't enter. But very good. Farcoin's also pumping nice. Oh, I wish I kept my 3x long on that. That would have been very, very good. But ooh, what's that? What's that first thing? Is that deep? That's chicken and waffles. Yum, 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 yum. And a good lump of meat. That's looking fucking good. But yeah, in general today, because we obviously did the like weekly closes and stuff yesterday. We'll probably just have a look at loads of altcoins, and see if we can find any value or potential areas where you could accumulate a decent little long. And yeah, that's about it. Because look at Farcoin. This thing, whoops, this thing pisses me off. Because I had a long, I had longs on it. I actually had a long at 5.2 or something. But yeah, decent looking chart. This man, this is this is decent. This is poking its head. I want it to come and just like mess around here for a tiny bit. But that's a double decent looking chart. There's not really too much to say on that actually. It doesn't even respect like fibs like that because we got a lower low from there, and then actually it did come down and got supported on the 618. So look, that's actually a 7% move. Interesting. But yeah, maybe we'll just accumulate a long in between here and here now. It is a lot. It's a big range, but or maybe just the yearly and the February. That's about 5%. That's maybe a bit more amicable. Amicable. Is that a word? Anyway, let's link decent long entries. Yeah, I actually did get a long on this at 10.3, but um literally down here. But I've sold off my old position now. And yeah, it's let's just take off these for a moment. So yeah, still in a downtrend on the daily. We have gained sort of like $13, which is something at least. That, which we've bullishly backtested right now, which is pretty darn nice. And I'll just take that off to make it see easier, make it easier to see. We have now gained this resistance. Actually, let me just put a line. What am I doing? So this was kind of holding us down, and we kind of gained it. We're kind of gaining it now, and we have made a high from here, which is that, which is good. This is obviously the low now, and potentially we are getting sort of like a lower high here, which could maybe come back down into this. I think the levels that you probably want to hold are here, and obviously in between here. So in between 12.2 to 12.4 would probably be a nice spot. And if I were to draw Stuber here, that might line up quite nicely with, okay, the low 12.1 to 12.3-ish. So yeah, I guess that general area would be perfect for a long, sort of like in between there and there, where that big wick is there on Thursday, 17th of April, that 4-hour wick at midday or 1 p.m. Conversely, yeah, I mean, it's not looking bad. I think 12.5 to 12.2 is kind of where you'd be looking to potentially ladder something in for me. Sometimes you just got to take all these monthly levels off and just be like, okay, let me just look at the lows and the structure and stuff. Again, holding 12.5 would also be quite good, which would be this little double here and the previous weekly. So like if we were to sort of find resistance on this Q2 now and sort of like chug down into here, there's a very good chance that we would just hold here. We wouldn't get into this stuff under here. But yeah, that's kind of why you want to average in on something like 3x, because it could do that, and you don't want to get stood, and you want to just accumulate the position in that position. Jack over here using big words first thing of the day. Yeah, bro. Amicably. Yeah. Having a spirit of friendliness. Yeah. And for your brain, amicable is a word. Yeah. Amicable. Amicable. Yeah, I've been reading again, that's why. I haven't read for like years. And now I read every morning before the stream. It makes me engages my brain a little bit. After the night before on the Benjamin. Reading will bring out vocabulary, yeah, for sure. Anyway. Yeah, let's oh damn. Popcat's pumping. So you just have to love Popcat. You just have to embrace it. If any of you embraced Popcat down here, you'd be up 133%. Pretty darn decent, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not really going to touch that though at the moment, because we just look like we're full sending up. And yeah, I'm not really just trying to mess with that right now. Let's just scan this sort of stuff. So FET actually has had a really good run off the lows. And the reason I was talking about this area is because this is where I was accumulating it before the bull market. So I was like, probably going to buy a little bit, which I did on leverage. Now we made a new high and we've actually retested March. I think this is probably going to do a little pullback just because we are losing the weekly open. So this actually not doesn't look too bad for a short, especially if we can get a little just ping up into this daily and this weekly, which is untested right now. I would really enjoy that as a potential short. I think this is probably quite nice. It's a shame that the Suba doesn't really come in that well. But yeah, it doesn't need to line up like that. It doesn't have to. So yeah, as long as we're underneath that, potential short all the way down into maybe like 50 cent. 50 cent in the club. Yeah, something like down here. literally just like in between that daily 50 and yeah, literally just 50 cent in the clip. Yeah, potentially quite nice for that actually. Sui is still struggling with this resistance, which makes me surprised that Deep Oak's pumped so far. We want to see a break of this and a hold. We did break up it and retest March on this move, which kind of shows strength, but then we made a new low and we actually failed it. So if we can break up and hold, possibly the next time that we go and test March will be like the squeeze through, especially if everyone's still short in the market. Hype. Let's have a look at hype. This is very nice. Yeah, hype just looks squeezy, and as long as it's above here and this sort of area, it's looking pretty decent to go and test March. I wouldn't get in the way of that at all. And yeah, we're just step laddering up. We're creating demand on the way up. Hidden ball. Yeah, we're just diverging each way. And yeah, I guess that is kind of tested that Q4. So I think for this, I mean, if we've missed the boat, we've missed the boat. But I'm just in a 3x long. So I'm happy if this continues to go up. If it does come back down, if we do get a little pullback, where would I be looking? Sort of in between 16.4 and sort of like 15.3. What do you think, Zeus? You're long on that, aren't you? I know you've been holding your position for time. I'm happy to hold that back up into like 20, 30. I definitely think we see that range again. But yeah, sort of like 19.6 to 20.8 is going to be resistance in the short term on that. Just this block. And I'll delete that line there for the time being. But yeah, it looks good. Looks like it's going to continue. I'm very happy with it. I mean, I'm in profit now. I'm actually in a decent amount of profit now. Let me just check, shall we? This trade was down bad as well at one point. I was down like 80%. Yeah, I'm up 25%. Let's go. Let's go. So yeah, what's tier doing, guys? And what's OM doing? We haven't even checked this in a while. So OM did I think we were talking about this pump to a dollar actually on stream. We just didn't check it. Where is it? Yeah, this one. I think someone was accumulating 60 cents with a trailing stop loss, and I was like, that's a really good idea in here. So yeah, we got the pump all the way to $1, which I think I was talking about actually $1 as the target, and then immediately just coming down and just getting absolutely dicked on. So uh, I just think yeah, this is probably pretty dead. I don't really want to trade this that much. We are coming down back down into here though, which is where they possibly might try to scam it up again. You see we're finding support one, two, three times. If that breaks the weekly open, I mean it's an easy pump up to 60 cent, but it's the budget 50 cent, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want to look at that. I want to look at what did I want to look at? It's slipped my mind. What was it? Damn. Tia. That was it. Tia. Let's get a fresh chart as well. Binance. That's not even a fresh chart. Let's do MXC then. Let's see MXC and let's turn that off and go on the 3-day. So yeah. So TIA is in the accumulation zone. I'm not sure how far the charts actually go back on this, but it's safe to say that something like this is obviously the accumulation zone. And you know, as soon as we break this like little micro high at 2.6, if we go back down to the 4 hour, which is this one, what we will have done is we will have gained a high with sort of a higher low from here, and we would have gained the previous range. So break this high, gain the range, and bang, you're pretty much good to go and rip everything up above. And I would say probably the first target is something like whatever's holding you down there. Maybe that there, which would also be a really good pump. It's about 50%. So anyone that's in a down underwater tier position could potentially get their whole position out on this pump here if you just accumulated, if you got your entry price down enough, which is what I was talking about yesterday. But yeah, I think I'm just being a little bit more patient on that one. I do like the bull divs. I like the posture of it. It's just a little bit too early to tell. A little bit too early. And also, this does look a little bit cooked on the oscillator, so we could see like one more down. A little bit like of a tail off in volume. Oh, someone said Tia. I was looking at it. Yeah, bro, I have a 3K hype long position. The show goes on. I actually watched Django last night. Good film, man. Although I prefer Inglourious Bastards to Django. Um, yeah, that's my thoughts on Tia. I think we are about. I mean, it's a prediction, so don't kill me if this doesn't go right because I've been wrong before. But it does look like we are forming bottoms. It just feels like that. That looks like a bottom on render. Yeah, just generally feels and looks pretty decent. I mean, on render we've come all the way and done that, and then we just need to gain something like this, which we're right on, and then we're gonna go and access all of this up here. Very very simply put, on a weekly time frame. This is also bull dived on the weekly, bro. Like you don't want to mess with that. You literally do not want to mess with that. Very nice. So yeah, let's talk about actual trade setups now in terms of like the general market because I feel like I've been saying a lot of nothing and I haven't actually looked at anything too intently. So yeah, AVAX supported on the weekly open was potentially actually very nice. If anyone saw that, sort of when I was asleep last night. Yeah, that's nice. That's pretty decent. We actually literally bang on tested that, which is funny, and then wicked back up. So now, if you wanted to long AVAX, I would say you could try do the daily open, which is untested. That's possible. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely something that could be resistance here, and then come back down, and then do that, and then we'll break out from this and do a new high. I don't mind that. What's Injective doing? Mm, Currently being supported by its weekly open. Bearishly retested its Q2 above the high. This is quite important. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks good. It's gonna go. It's gonna go up until it's not. I think that's. Yeah, we've actually tested that, and we're holding that. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't really feel comfortable just like market smashing anything in here, just because of the amount of levels and stuff that there is. So yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that either. What's Doge doing? Doge is just probably in accumulation, so it's always good accumulating Doge. You can go to 5x on hype now. Oh, can you? Nice. Spot hype should be in profit now. Road to easiest 2-3x ever. Yeah, I think it is going to be the easiest 2-3x ever. I am going to enjoy that, especially after like being very down on my position when we're at $9. Ondo. Yeah, I haven't heard Ondo in a little while actually. We used to look at it quite a lot. I probably told you to buy it way too high. But yeah. Oh, hello. Hello. So yeah, we've got some nice bull div on the daily, which is arcing up. Um, we're in the pocket. This held. This right here. Hello, excuse me. That held. That's retested. You want to see the break now, and then this is gonna go and rip up here into 140. Very actually simple chart. Break the August, which is resistance here, 925, which we've tested twice, and you're gonna go and rip all this stuff up here. Probably with our final target around 160 in the meantime, or maybe a Stuba pocket somewhere up here in there, just by eyeballing it. In terms of the tradable side, let me get rid of all this shit. Yeah, that's been retested. That's been held. It just looks pretty good, doesn't it? It looks like everything else. It's lagging behind slightly. Kind of reminds me a little bit of ETH lagging, but not quite the same chart. I mean, it looks good, man. If it were to come back down to Q2, Q4, like if we get a little bit of a pullback on Bitcoin now, I think that would be your area to possibly long something on 3x. If not, I don't like longing stuff now, like with this, but if you caught the weekly open would have been nice. It's potential that you could accumulate something within this range, or if you want to be really safe, you just wait for that. But sometimes those can be precarious because you can like get that and then that, or you get that and then it just goes straight away and you don't get in. But I like it. It looks good, man. It's a solid project as well, and it's holding the stupid fig pocket. This is probably actually one of the most bullish charts I've seen so far. This held really well up in the slump phase. I mean, it still did what 65% down, but it didn't drop. it's sort of like November level. Whoops, it's November low, and a lot of alts did so. Pretty amicable. No, I'm joking. Very friendly chart. Need some water. Let's try to break out. Trying to break out. Retested. Nice. That doesn't look too bad. World coin. We've got something like. Whoops. That's not perfect. Something like that. Retest in here. Hold of the weekly opening Q2. This is not bad. This is not bad. We've also made a new high. This is not bad at all. I quite like this. I mean, it's really, all these alts are going to do the same thing, and it's going to depend on what Bitcoin does now. If Bitcoin sees a little bit of a pullback, because we are in resistance here, then all the alts are going to come back to like and do that in here, and that's where you're going to want to long. If not, we're just going to go from here. So I actually quite like this to potentially break out right now. Actually, it looks pretty decent. Yeah, all of that's been held. All of that's been niced off. It's just sort of like that is holding us down. This one's holding us down slightly, but I think that squeeze looks quite good. Very interesting things on the charts today. What are they doing? Yeah, it's this posture looks a bit like ETH. This actually looks the most similar to ETH. All these holds of level look really good. I think the market looks. We're gonna see some pumps soon. I think we're gonna see some pumps soon. Griffin ready. Yeah, is it time to average down my bag? Look at all those lines. Griffin is not ready yet. It's trying to be ready. Yeah, this Q2 is that's the area, man. We're right on it. In between that Q2 and this thing needs to be gained. Something like pop, bang. And that's going to be res. That's where we're going to want to stop, something like that. Whoops. Why does it never switch? Like this, yeah. I need that. It's not ready yet. If it comes back down into here, maybe we should accumulate some. I think so. I think so. I think so. Yeah, so well, should we do a Aave Ada dot? link near, and then we'll just maybe call it. All in all, like everything looks pretty decent. So if you could catch along with a nice invalidation, then fine. Just be wary of what Bitcoin's doing. I'm I'm a little bit in two minds because I genuinely think the market looks good right now and we're going to continue going up. But the reason why I don't want a long right here is just because we're at major resistance. If we get the 4 hour close above, then I might consider it on some good looking alts. But yeah, I don't want to short because there's so many shorts in the market. So I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, Zeus.hayl. Or Hype Zeus, bro. Hype Zeus is a sick name. Feels like we're at the make or break point. Yeah, I agree. We are. Um, if we have a spare chart somewhere, do I have spare chart? Please. I mean, this daily candle is going to it's going to say everything. If we just take all of this off and we just put a simple line here, this daily candle is going to be it. It's going to be either that was the bottom and this is the trend change, or we're going to fail and come down and do one more test, probably an 82.3, or yeah, like we have nice levels and nice support now, which is sort of like there and there. That 82.3 probably comes in at the Q2 as well. This sort of structure here. So yeah, like it looks good. Uh, I definitely think it looks good. It's nice, and everyone's shorting it, man. So it's exactly what you want to see for a bottom. So on the next pullback, we'll be we will be jumping in. We'll be jumping in. Happy days, man. Happy days. Trump about to break us. What's that? Hyper is trading live. Is that's but that says hyper, bro. Is that's something different, no? Hyper chain X. Oh no, I don't think it is this actually. Hyperfi? Hyperlane. Nah, that's bookie. Yeah, yeah, don't trust that shit. It's just hype. No hyper. It could be something shit like this, bro. And they're just gonna rug pump it. They're gonna scam pump. Bro, something like this last cycle, I was like, let me just buy. And it would always 10x. Yeah, if literally up to there, just like 10x. And then it just dies after that. I'm not gonna be doing that this cycle, though. But yeah, I don't think it actually looked at Sol, but Sol's there's really no change from yesterday. It's done the gain. It's just consolidating. I mean, it hasn't actually done the gain yet, but I think it looks pretty good. We've held the res. Bullishly backtested it at 125. This is the low. Mm, in the short term, Actually, in the short term, there's a possible short on it. Simply just going off these principles. Yeah, that also matches up. What's the risk on this, hey? Just because this is a combination Stuber, yeah, you could take that for sure.
What up?
What's up, Max? How you doing,
What's
bro?
crack ooh lacking? What are you looking at, dude? What charts you got for me?
Everything looks pretty good, man. We're just kind of we're talking about are we gonna squeeze through here? Um, let's have a look. Are we gonna squeeze through
Man,
this little
I'm
resistance?
liking the look of the itty bitty, bro. Like, if this fucking clears this area and then we see it as support, it's gonna be $100,000 for the Bitcoin 100K MDX shindig.
Yeah, and everyone's shorting it as well, man.
Yeah, I've seen 63% short, so this is gonna be epic. Like, everyone at the party is gonna be short, and we're gonna be giggering it to 100K, and they can drown their sorrows on their shorts at the party with shitloads of bottles of tequila.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, the daily close. We're gonna get a change if we get this daily close like this.
Is it sneaky? Mm. Yeah, that is the price, the local high. So yeah, that's the level really. And then I've said a few times we'll probably see it as resistance again, which we did in a brief moment of resistance. And now, if we clear it, we'll probably come back and retest it, and that will be a really nice higher low because we haven't really. Mm-mm. Let me smoke this vape. We haven't really carved out a defined higher low, except you could say that time we had in between the bottom, which you can see on the chart, around 78, and then that like kind of it's an S bend up. That kind of is that time period we had there acted as support in itself. So as I'm saying, that flat area after the pump back out from the low,
Yeah. Yeah. I
time
mean,
acts as support, time acts as
it's looking good. It's looking very good. It's been looking good for a while,
resistance.
especially after this nice like this
Drop.
week, this boring week, bro, was so good for price action. I was like, this is really exactly what you want to see up here. And then yeah, we've just blasted into this resistance
Yep.
now at 88.3. And if we clear this now with all these shorts, it's you're right, it's gonna giga. So
Let me
yeah,
just log into.
we're kind of just being a little bit patient though with the alts because if this does come back down, we're gonna get really nice chances to long some alts when Bitcoin goes
Nah,
there. Nah, you don't
nah.
want to long no
Yeah,
alts.
no, no. I'm just giga Bitcoin baby right now, but I'm waiting until Bitcoin. I don't think ETH's. I think ETH's a good long now, but mm-mm.
Yeah, we were looking
Only
at
for
that
a short
weekly
term
chart.
trade. It's only a short term trade back up, and then like I would say, what's more likely to be ETH, it's going to rally up. It's not going to reach 4,100. It's going to go into a sideways formation for probably multiple months, maybe 6 months to a year. And while Bitcoin's breaking out to the upside, making all time new highs, I think when Bitcoin eventually does its gigatop, that will be when ETH has its moment. And then it'll be
Mm,
a real alt season.
yeah, maybe. I could definitely see that as being a little bit different. But for example, like
Oh,
PopCap,
they've just
bro.
done an update.
PopCap, mate. This thing.
You love a bit of PopCap.
Look what it did from the low. We're 170% now. You'd probably still be in your long as well.
Mate, I'm already
Maybe a bot.
3.8% up on Nike. On Nike, I'm up 3.8% already.
Oh yeah, that's it. That bro, that's gonna be the easiest. That's just the easiest trade of our lives, isn't it? It's just textbook.
Yeah, it's not going to be. It won't be the most lucrative
Profitable.
trade because
Yeah.
it's probably not. Yeah, it's not going to be like massively profitable, but I think it's a very easy double money.
Mm,
Like even fucking Morgan Street came out and they said that they think true. They say they do a whole calculation with the yield on the dividend and like what the actual stock price would be in relative terms of value. I did a whole tweet on it,
mhm.
and I think it's about right. $100 would be fair value if you just take into account it's giving a 3% yield, and that's double your money probably in 6 months. But yeah, it won't be the best, but you're getting that steady income from the dividend. So if anything happens, you're still going to get paid 3%, which is great. That just shows stability and longevity. It's not. It's like I just like dividend stocks, man, because the thing is with it, if like say for instance Tesla or Amazon, they don't pay divs because they tell their shareholders that we're investing everything back into the business for growth. And growth is great, and growth can mean that you can appreciate faster. But Nike's been around for fucking how many years? Like since 1990s, so it's been around for nearly 30 years. And like their policy really is to say, well, we're not trying to grow rapidly. We're just gonna, well, it's essentially it's a stability play instead of trying to have a massive stock price increase. So it's not going to be a massive lucrative trade in terms of like, it's going to suddenly giga like 10x. It won't, but you're going to get fucking paid for the year. So you've got 100 grand in, you're getting a 3K free amount of money. You can put that somewhere else into Tesla. That could then do its rise. So like, yeah, if you're getting 3% on 100K, that's chill. That kind of cuts out half of inflation. That means that you're kind of beating inflation with the yield, and then the appreciation's on top of that. And then it will double, I think. It will go to $100.
Yeah, I think
so if you put in 100K, turn to 200. Like, fuck, Nike's great, bro.
Nike's lit.
I'm gonna start buying the fucking sneakers.
Yeah.
I love Nike. I've been basically buying their shoes since I was a kid.
Yeah, for real.
That's not gonna go away.
Everyone loves Nike, man. Everyone loves Nike.
Yeah, and they've got that massive. They've got such a great brand, which will just resonate for probably another 100 years. Like, I don't see, even if, and also I think sportswear is a general like class of something. Like, let's say sportswear and leisure wear. More and more people are working from fucking home, and more people are getting active and actually wanting to do. Look at Gen Z. All they do is go for jogs and runs. They're not drinking tequila and smoking cigars. They're fucking going on a jog and a run and wearing Nike sneakers. Like, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Anyway, that's one I put in. I'm in Tesla. That's had some really nice ups and downs. I'm obviously in like the bigger ones. I actually had a really good play on Meta. I literally called the bottom on Meta. It actually did like an insane fucking play up. Well, I've actually sold all of my Meta out. But if you look at the Meta stock, it bottomed. Well, you can go on a monthly or a higher time frame if you're on Meta. But you see that low down there, bro. Yeah, man. Look at that growth.
Yeah.
It's like 300%. What
that's
is that?
Real.
I think Nike's gonna do something like this.
That's 700%, bro.
Mate, it's ridiculous. It's
That's
7x, and that was a yeah, and that's not even that's not a long period of time at all. Like, that was a quick rise, and like I would say, there's a video of me literally calling it. I drew a fractal on stream. I was like, guys, this thing's just gonna be bottom, and it did, because obviously Meta got hit really hard with all the regulations and all the stuff they have in the news and all those fucking court cases they go through, and they get sued all the time and shit. And everyone does get freaked out, especially with the whole, movement away from, obviously Facebook isn't as big as it used to be, but people just forget. It's the Google ad. They're just blasting it, man. Like, Meta ads is literally,
yeah.
If you go on any device, you're just seeing Meta ads. Like, there's a way you get away from it. Like, obviously Instagram, then you got your Facebook account if you use it, but then you got all of the other ads they integrate into other shit, and it's just like, bruv, that's not going away.
Look at this weekly chart and tell me this does not look exactly like Nike. It literally looks exactly.
Yeah,
like
that's
Nike.
what I was about to say.
It literally looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it came. If you do inflation adjusted as well, so you do on Nike, you do inflation adjusted. It came back to 1997 levels. Like, if you just fucking like 1997, like, what, bruv, relax. Like, that's like the S&P going back to before the .com bubble rally.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Like, that's against true value. Like, some other companies will say, well, the economy's changing, Nike aren't giving as much dividends, and they're not growing as rapidly. But like, even if you're rational and you say, okay, well, how much currency was in circulating supply in 1997 in comparison to today? We're talking, because 2008 they printed 90% of all currency ever created. So 90% of all new currency was created in 2008. So if you go back all of history of fiat currency, let's just say the US dollar, you had a certain amount of fiat currency. In 2008, they printed 90% more in 2008. That was the big boof. And now there's no way, like, even if you're talking just like true realized value, it's good. The price will rise. Doesn't mean that it has to go up in value. I'm just saying that the value should be about 100. If it was overvalued, it'd be 200. So $50 in, I'll just churn my dividends, chill out. Like, I didn't put $1 million or anything like that. Like, that's when you start making really nice gains, especially if you get to like 5, 6, 7% yield on. If you have $1 million in stocks as a whole and you manage to average 5 to 10% between there, that's a really nice dividend portfolio, because you're literally just making 70 grand a year on your divs, which kind of cuts out inflation, which means that you because when you have a dividend stock which is giving a high div, it does reduce volatility. Everybody likes to say, well, they're not growing as much, they're not investing as much. Well, you can say that, but like if they're giving half their fucking revenue out to people are much more likely to have strong hands. You're just creating diamond hands because they know that if it does drop 20%, and they're going through a period where, let's just say, there is high inflation and things around them are getting more expensive, they know that they're just going to get 7% each quarter. Whatever, if you have $1 million in, you're getting like 12 grand or some shit.
Yeah,
So
people
like,
hold that shit
yeah,
through like crashes and stuff and recessions and stuff.
people don't get it, man. Like there was a time where there are a few mortgage thing is. I'm looking at the fucking the lenders, the mortgage lenders, and some of the banks, especially the brokers, the mortgage brokers. Like they're getting really hot, and I do think that there's going to be a cool off, especially in the Dubai market right now. It's crazy. Like they're building so much stuff. Obviously, Dubai is a very, very small, nuanced, small market within the global scene. But I'm just saying, like, if you look at the places which are like Dubai, for instance, it's just like they're building so much supply. Prices are still increasing with supply. There's going to be a moment where no, that people aren't going to feel. There's also 45% of all new builds are vacant.
Wow.
Like half of all the buildings you see in Dubai aren't even inhabited. So like obviously there's the play where people buy real estate because there's a whole, there's a lot of people who have lots of money and they don't know what to do with it. They're not in crypto, they're not in gold, and they're in real estate. And they're like, what am I going to do with my money? Okay, I'm just going to go buy up a whole load of fucking flats in an emerging market like Dubai. And that does hold the price up. But there's only so far that can go. You do need to have real people living in it, paying the mortgages, paying the debts, paying down all the fucking debt. So there's going to be a cool off.
It's already
So I think some of these divs
cooling off a little bit in London actually, because
Yeah, I have heard. Yeah, I did
stamp
see
duty's
actually
gone
in
up
Kensington
and
High
people don't really want to buy as much. So people that want to sell, there's more people that
and
want to
Russia as
sell.
well. The
They're putting
Russian money.
they're putting the prices down, and then it's not selling because people don't have enough money to pay the stamp or whatever. It's happening. I
Well, yeah, it's
actually
the Russian
remember you
money as well,
saying that
bro.
a couple. It might have been a couple years ago, bro. I think you might have said like, yeah, I think we
Yep,
are going to
yep.
see a little cool down in the real estate market when you were talking about the watches on your
100%.
stream a while ago.
Yeah. Maybe 2 years ago in Cyprus. I remember the watch market was tanking. I sold my I had a Patek Philippe, nice turquoise dial for Patek Philippe. It was a Nautilus, yeah.
Mm.
I sold that. I bought it for like 100 and sold it for like 180, and then I haven't really looked at watches. I bought it just for. It's just one of those things you do when you make money. You just go and buy an expensive watch, and you look at it loads. And you're like, okay, I've got this watch. I can never wear it anywhere. Even in Cyprus, I didn't wear it.
Only in
So I
Dubai.
just thought, why? Like, yeah, exactly. Like only in Dubai, but then everyone's got a nice watch, and it's just who cares anymore? Like I walk around with a limited edition Jurassic Park watch now. Like I walk around, I walk around with $100 watch, and it's got a limited edition Jurassic, and that's cooler. That's cooler because it's just
Yeah.
like that's different. Like, and no one gives a fuck about the price. And also, everyone's wrecked in the watch market, even though it's going to turn around. I would say though, right now is a good time to trade gold into watches for sure. Gold's at its all-time high of value over the last 100 years. So after 1971, there was a bull market in gold. It took it all the way up to like $800, $900. And that was extremely high value. So you need to go even further back to the
Yeah,
70s.
you need to go on the monthly
So
chart.
yeah, that high there. So the very first big one you can see with that line you've got drawn on. Yeah, perfect. So that is there in our history, really, which us as human beings can really think back to. Let's just go back to like even the 1920s, probably even the early 1800s. Like that high there was the highest valuation for gold ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's when you could have turned your gold into the most amount of things in the economy ever in history. Today, we've just broken that. Okay, so now the price of gold has gone up so much that the value is now at the top. It's actually a little bit more to go, but if it goes to $4,000, we've eclipsed it by a long way.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that this rally can't pop it to something nuts. Like this could go into a parabola of 8K. It could, and I even said years ago, I think it could go to 10 because if you look at the debt clock and you just look at the amount of dollars in circulating supply in comparison to the amount of gold, $10,000 is not off the cards, but in today's world, we have so many other alternatives to store our value. Obviously, we have all these fiat currencies, we have gold, we have silver, we have all these other things. We can even do real estate, you can even do fine wine, NFTs, whatever it is. There's even watches. Things are massive markets now. And there's always going to be a amount of people who will store their economic energy in something like a watch. Fine. So that's fine. But I'm saying if it goes into a bubble between here and 10K, gold will top. It's not going to have a gentle slope down for sure. It's going to be a massive bear market in gold. It's a huge bear market. And I think with watches that they are right now, it's a good trade. Like I would say, you wait and you wait for some sort of formation. You at least wait for gold to go sideways for 6 months, maybe 10 weeks, something like that, and then you have to make essentially a trade on that, on the basis of that, and you have to take an educated guess, and you have to say this is probably likely that I'll buy 25%, 35%, 45% of my gold will go into watches, and I think that's a really good trade because I think watches are gonna have their next moon, and like going back to the fucking inflation adjusted on Nike and everything, I think that all coincides nicely because you're probably going to see things like Nike and stocks that are, let's just say, more risky than gold. Obviously, inherently, they're more risky than gold. You're probably going to see when gold tops a lot of these companies which have drawn down recently because of all the economic stuff and all the fucking things. They're going to have their moment again. And also, yeah, look at that indicator right there, the MDX oscillator. That's crazy.
Bro, this is the monthly chart.
That's correct. That's the lowest it's ever been on this chart, except if you go back to like probably the 80s.
84, literally when it started. It's crazy.
Yeah, lowest read on. And you're using the legacy indicator, aren't you? The Classico.
Yeah, I use the momentum.
Momentum, yeah, classic. And then you're a Classico, bro.
Yeah.
That means you're an ultimate OG. If you're using fucking MDX oscillator, you're a G.
Bro, I remember when you just had like
it's a really good indicator.
Two little shitty indicators at the start, man. It's like reactive.
And the thing is,
one buy, sell one.
Yeah, the funny thing is as well is like if you look at MDX Focus, which was my first indicator, which is like that was the first one ever. But like the thing is with it is a very simple, let's call it shitty indicator, but it's still, if you turn it on, it's still done amazingly. Like it's a very simple strat. It's using a couple of fib numbers. But look at the entries. You've still done really well. Like obviously, we call it it's the double buy, isn't it? Remember the double buy, double sell?
Yeah, the double
you have
buy,
a green.
Double sell.
Mate, this used to be classic
throwback,
shit. The double buy, double sell. I used to put 25. If there was a trade which I thought was high conviction, and you got the first arrow, I put it in with a stop loss, and then if you get the green diamond, I then increase it all to the maximum size.
This one.
And bro, just doing that, you get. Yeah, that's a great example. So you got the first green buy
on the game.
Yeah.
Bang. Yeah. Classic.
And then with exit, you use the grey line. So like if it goes grey, you say fuck it, take 25 off.
Yeah.
And then. But yeah, it's still a great little indicator, and it does the job. And if you combine them with two things, you don't have to make things like the thing is about indicators. You know, the parameters that are built into them are things that have been used for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, if not even thousands of years. And some of the things are built into the fabric of nature itself. So like these things don't get bad or worse because like Fibonacci numbers and sequences, they don't change. Like that, especially when you look at natural shells and weird mathematical equations, they're all the same, and that's what you do on the charts, and it's the same forever. So like, I don't know, they're shitty and they're not as complex, but sometimes, bro, in this game we live, simplicity. Like I would rather someone come to me and say I use this strategy, which is really simple, but I'm the master of it, than have this really complex, crazy technical thing they're using, but be an amateur in it. Yeah. Like it's way better just to be the master of the simple one than be the amateur of the complex one. It's like you don't want to be the jack of all trades. You want to be the specialist.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You just got to work out what works. And if you're using botting as well, I think Daggle's in the building. If you use a lot of the stuff Daggle's doing, and then you integrate that with a manual strat, it is very, very possible, guys. Like to just absolutely fucking smash it in this game. The issue is a lot of guys who started in crypto, they have it's like they've been kind of programmed into this ADHD world of massive volatility, and unfortunately, it's the patient money that wins,
Mm,
and sometimes you do have to have that year or two of losing to
mm-hmm.
then get you back on track for the next. Most people most trends happen in like a month. Like there'll be a game which comes out 1 month. There'll be this. There'll be a fidget spinner will
Yeah.
be big for. Like it's just everyone's so fast on trends. And sometimes you got to understand that markets can downtrend for like decades, and it's just like, if you haven't got that higher time frame idea in your mind of like, I'm going to continue to do this forever and I'm going to make it my thing, there's absolutely no chance you're going to make it.
Mm. There is a warped perception that you have if you just start out in crypto, especially if you come in a
Oh,
bull market.
100%.
Bro, if you come in a bull market, you
Oh,
just think you're
100%.
the shit. Like that's what was me like last 2020, and then you just think you're the god, and then the bear market comes, and you're like, oh shit, now I actually have to learn what I'm doing. Yeah, it's funny, man.
Oh, mate, it's yeah, absolutely correct. And even me, because I was trading, I was in, like I said, Australia. I was trading forex markets predominantly at the beginning, and I was doing some Russell stocks. Obviously, I was dabbling in the CFDs and the contract for
Mm,
difference stuff and all that, and pip charts. And I was like, probably, because my dad I remember he had one of his brokerage accounts up when I was a kid, probably 8 or 9 years old, and that was the click for me. I was like, this thing on the screen can make you money, and you don't have to like go and sweat or work your time for somebody else. And that was my realization that there is a way to do it. And I remember my dad's whole his like 401k or his stuff in the stock market or the stocks and shares he had. Those were just like so small in game, but I remember thinking like, imagine just being able to make $1 a day on it each stock. All you got to do is then just like do it again and then do it again, and then you just compound that strategy with lots of different stocks. And obviously the dividends is something which is now called staking in crypto.
mm,
But yeah, I remember like even for me when crypto hit, I got completely swept up in it as well, because at the very very beginning we kind of all had the euphoria of like, this is the new world. You know what I mean? It was like, it was so new in comparison to the stock market that we all got caught up in the fact that like, because it was a slightly new technology in comparison to what the previous analog to digital. A lot of people got swept up in it, and yeah, that's the price did represent that. But then I got caught up in it. Everyone got caught up in it. It's just like the new thing. It's like AI. Everyone gets caught up in the AI thing, and then it kind of peters out, and actually stuff gets built. And it's
exactly.
an interesting model, bro. Because these crypto, I would say as well that one other thing though, crypto is a double-edged sword. You get programmed into ADHD, but you hyper learn,
Uh-huh.
because sometimes if you started in the stock, if you started in the stock market in 2001, you had an 8-year bull market until 2008. 8 years. Like that's the thing about that is like, some people learned their lesson 8 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's crazy, because like you can really build in a lot of like almost muscle memory into that. You can build in a lot of habits which you think are great habits because it's bull market for 8 years and you never know anything different. 8 fucking years, mate. That's a long time. And then everyone got wrecked in the dot-com bubble. Obviously, that was in the 90s, but the 2008 was another great example of that. But like with a good thing about crypto is that you don't get those types of cycles. You actually, like, let's just say the maximum length of a cycle is really around 4 years, but then you have hyper cycles within
Mm-hmm.
each month, or like each weekly candle or each monthly candle. You're kind of doing what, sometimes you're doing a pump up to $20,000 Bitcoin back to six in 6 months or
Yeah.
less, and that's basically what. That's good. That's good to train you up like that.
You
But I'm
basically
saying like
experience every sort of market condition like twice as fast, or maybe even three
maybe
times as
more.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
maybe
more.
more. Maybe more. Yeah, I would say probably it's a good question. I'd probably say actually, if you look at, say, if you go on the monthly chart of the SPX and then you go on the monthly chart of Bitcoin, you could probably say you're almost like 5 to 10xing the amount of cycles you're doing. Like obviously that's a crazy bull market SPX, and then look at Bitcoin in comparison. You obviously doesn't go back to the 80s; it only goes back to 2008. So you can see there you've got one, two, maybe that cyclical bear to bull. You got one, two, three, four, and then we're kind of in the fifth. You've got 5 hypercycles there of up
Mm.
and down, going up massively and then down more than 50%, maybe more actually, because I'm not even counting that move to 14k back to 3. Well, that was another one. So you got 6 cycles since 2009, And in the stock market, if you look at 2009 going up, you've probably got two big ones anyway. So it's pretty interesting, bro.
Yeah, for
That's the
sure.
2008 there. So that's when Bitcoin was created, and that's the dot com
Literally
bubble.
here.
That's the 2008 recession.
Yeah.
Yeah, from there, essentially, what we've done is it's a bull market forever, except there's been some sideways. So Bitcoin's way more up and down. There's not one 80% correction in that whole time ever since 2008. The
No.
only one was 2008, which was only 50. What was it? 2008, 68% or something.
It looks to be 58, 58
Yeah,
ish.
58. Yeah, so 58%. And like Bitcoin's done six, maybe seven times it's gone below 80%.
Yeah.
So like it's crazy. And like even the COVID crash wasn't even like, I think COVID was quite drastic, but I don't think it was more than 40. It was probably about 40%.
COVID was about,
Now look at
yeah, 35.
yeah, exactly.
Not that bad though.
Yeah, man, it's yeah, we've had so many. Like I remember, obviously because you're not even counting the very first one, that little blip on the radar at the very beginning. That was
Yeah.
1K to
This
200,
one.
and then there's another one. Just yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, that one, massive learning curve. If you were in that, I wasn't in Bitcoin at that. I bought Bitcoin at $600. That was my first time I got in. So after that bear market, I bought,
This one,
and
yeah.
I
Like,
and then yeah, I
Will was
got in at
probably in this
about
one, right?
between. No. Will was in the same one as me. We both started. Well, the thing is, Will loves to claim to fame that he owned Bitcoin at that time, but he was buying Bitcoin for much different reasons, like we were back in those days.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Essentially, just
So you just
yeah.
knew
So
about
like,
it, yeah.
yeah, I remember dabbling with Bitcoin. I remember I went to a party in 2010, 11, and someone was like, I know we haven't got any money, and my mate went to a little ATM and got Bitcoin and bought some whatever, whatever it was. But I'm saying like, I say to myself, to be fair to myself, the first time I bought Bitcoin as actually a tradable, investable asset, where I knew it was that thing, that was $600. But yeah, I think a lot of us who we knew what Bitcoin was on the radar, but we just saw it as like drug money. It was
Yeah.
nefarious internet money. And back then, people weren't even buying just drugs with it. People were buying things on Silk Road. People were buying legal highs. People were buying guns. They were just using Bitcoin for what it was good for at that point, which was it was a way to get around regulations, like with the US dollar and Great British Pound. You couldn't just go and fucking buy with your card a gun. Obviously, I'm not saying that that's what you want to be doing, but people buy guns with dollars the whole time as well. And we're not upset about the US dollar. It's just you can do it. It's just easier to do it with Bitcoin, and that's actually kind of where Bitcoin, has. I know it sounds crazy to say this, but that is one of the perks of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like you can just kind of Actually, to be honest, today it's changed. It's not that good. It's a pseudo anonymous asset, so you do have some sort of identity connected to it. Cash would actually be a better option to buy a gun or drugs right now because it's just a piece of paper. But
Hmm.
like back in the day when Bitcoin was super unknown or unregulated or whatever, it was just easy. And like yeah, that first bull market was an 80%. So yeah, it's crazy, man. Like Bitcoin is a great, it's a great thing that we managed to be able to trade it for so long when it's so volatile, because that will change. Bitcoin's not going to be volatile in the future because it's the same as like dividend stocks. It's actually way more stable than a dividend stock because the thing you're getting a yield on in all these companies now for Bitcoin is money. Like you got to remember, Nike isn't money. I
No.
couldn't go into a shop and use it as money. I could go and loan against it, but you're having to move into another asset. So like you can't, it's very okay. You can be done. You could say, I'll give you 500 shares for this, but that doesn't happen and won't ever happen as much as I'll give you 500 Bitcoin for this. So you're getting paid in fucking money, but Bitcoin's money, just a good version of it.
Yeah, it feels like it's our version of the .com bubble for our gen, almost, or just
Well, it's
something
just
similar.
it's just so much more. It's like this. It's like I always think of it as this. The dot com bubble was like the Ethereum built on top of Bitcoin. Because it was and this what we're in is like being able to buy the internet. It's not buying the things on top of it. You're just buying money. You're what you're actually investing in with Bitcoin isn't Bitcoin. You're actually investing in its blockchain, which has all. It's just, you're just buying a token that represents the blockchain it's on, and we all know that blockchain is very, very good because it's the longest standing blockchain. It has a mining algorithm that stops it from being hacked. You also have every 10 minutes a block is created, so there's no other blockchain out there which uses proof of work, which has its history, which means that it's the hardest to break. Because like and the cool thing is about it is like as time goes on, it gets stronger, and there's no other blockchain that can ever go back in time. So like every single time a block is created, it captures the amount of energy it took to make that block. So like let's just say Bitcoin uses the same electricity of Argentina. That means you need the same electricity of Argentina every single time you go back each block. So if you actually think about how much energy you need to roll back the blockchain to the first block, it's basically numbers that it's just not possible. Like it's like simply not possible. I don't know what that equation is,
No,
but the
yeah.
amount of electricity because it's defined in the SH259 mining algorithm itself. That's why the blockchain of Bitcoin is quantum computer proof,
Mhm.
because whether you have a fast computer or not, it doesn't mean that the electricity consumption is the hard stop. It's like we all know this anyway. I'm probably just telling you guys what you already know, but I'm saying like the hard stop of gold, for instance, is that if you need to drill a mile down into the ground to get it, and there's only a certain amount of it, and we know there's only about 500, there's about 300,000 tons, but there's only about 170,000 tons in monetary supply, but maybe there's 300 out there. We know that because it costs so much to get it out of the ground, that it's extremely difficult for it to be inflated quickly, which
Mhm.
means it has a base price because no one's ever going to sell it for less than it costs to get it. So there's always going to be obviously the markets can get crazy and it can go below the floor for periods of time. But if you look historically at gold, it stays above its floor price because the stock to flow, depending on how much goes into the stock and how much goes into supply, you will fluctuate, but it never goes below the floor price forever because it can't, because always nobody would mine it, right? And then that means that more and more other things will be inflated, and if there's no mining of it, that means it stays at zero inflation, and everything else in the world is inflated: homes, real estate, cars, paper. So it can't not go up in relative terms to everything else, which is being inflated slowly, because if it's zero mines to go up in terms of the value of it, because it needs to subsequently link, because it's money. It's the
Yeah.
money of the world. It never.
It's
It's
money.
crazy, man. So like, it's money, bruv. Like you can't just lose. It's fucking money. So like, yeah, the whole thing is crazy, man. Because with Bitcoin, it's great. It probably will be one of those. The only issue Bitcoin has is like it relies on certain factors. For instance, like the internet and the mining algorithm. So gold will never go away. But like, I do think that Bitcoin will be. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Obviously, we don't know that, but I just can't ever see it being hacked. Obviously, wallets can be hacked because wallets are using cryptography, which will break eventually. But if a quantum computer breaks cryptography, then we've got a lot of other problems for
Yeah,
every
we've
single
got a
plane in the
lot
sky
of
will
other
fall out.
problems there if that happens.
Yeah, and I would actually argue that Bitcoin would probably be the last thing to break,
Yeah,
just
they wouldn't
because.
go after Bitcoin
It,
first.
yeah, they're not going Bitcoin first. It's going to be like the cartel banking system, or it's going to be
Yeah,
everyone's bank account, or it's going to be the global government. It's going to be the U.S. Pentagon's nuclear codes, which is
yeah,
actually kind of fucking mental. But like, I think with Bitcoin, at least we can rely on the blockchain. It's the longest standing blockchain. It's like the same thing with gold. Like people forgot about gold in our history. Like even with empires like Rome and obviously the Ottoman Empire and everything like that. Like it's like gold. The only reason gold's always ended up being the best is because over really long periods of time, just human biology always eventually gets us back to the point where we say, what's the thing I can have my money in with the highest certainty? Like that's why people That's why pirates used to fucking sail into Alaska for months and hide gold in the highest mountains. Like people used to go for these huge lengths to defend the certainty of gold, because obviously in our history it was much more difficult to mine gold. There was periods in time where the only way you could have got any gold would have been to have found a river somewhere and started sieving the rocks, because the mining wasn't even like there wasn't an industry around mining. So to mine it was just so difficult. Like the Egyptians had a good play on it. That's why they were so big for so many thousands of years, because they had massive gold reserves and they had the Nile. So like they had the ability to mine it quickly and then sell lots of food to everyone. That's why they were so good, and they could just they were the printing press because they had the mining of gold.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, it's like because it has so because you can have certainty in it, and it's so stupid as well to even think like we're these little animals, these little like monkeys running around, and we like have to like think about which rock to hold because it's the most certain thing which we can think. But over thousands of years, people always just end up coming back to gold, even if people forget about it. For like the Romans forgot. They forgot about the value of gold. That's why they debased it, and they added copper and nickel
And
and
it's
all
like
these
clipping and
bollocks, fucking
stuff.
clipping everyone's gold. They debased. They went into deficit spending, and they forgot about the value of holding the asset itself. They spent all their gold on making armies, and then all it took was losing a few big wars. They built the Hadrian's Wall, guys. Like, are you fucking joking? Like, if you really think about the cost to do that, like the Romans were the epiphany of overextending. Like, it's like America today. It's like it's so crazy how much they overextend on debt, and it's crazy to like the American Empire will fail, obviously, but it's like the fucking Romans were mining gold all around these because the empire was the whole of Mediterranean and Europe, and then they were spending. I don't know what in terms of money today, but I don't know how much it would have cost to build the Hadrian's Wall. But they literally at the other side of their empire, which meant nothing. It was never going to really defend them. It was never really going to help them. It was just out of like pure ego. They built a fucking wall all the way across Scotland. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
that's
they built the
crazy back
Great Wall
then.
of China. They built the and like that. Imagine how much that cost. The labor, the people. There wasn't as much slavery in the Roman Empire than there was in prior empires. They were actually pretty decent. Obviously, there was massive slavery, but I'm not
Yeah.
not in comparison to what the Brits
Yeah, in
did.
comparison, yeah.
In comparison to what we did, we're fucking mentalists. But it's
We also ended
yeah, that's why
slavery though,
they.
at least.
One sec, my door. Yeah, my doorbell's ringing. One sec.
But anyway, um, I just would like to bring everyone's attention, lastly, before we maybe wrap it up, if his door's going and stuff, to this weekly hidden bull div. So this weekly candle is obviously looking very nice at the moment. We're about to get some nice breaker structure around 86k, which is very, very nice. The last time we hit and bull dived, it did take a little while to play out, but then we obviously did this pump. When did we get? We got it on this candle after the big wick, and then we obviously pumped about 90%. So there's definitely potential that we could have one more in the market. I'm not saying that this needs to bring us to a new high, but you know, it's not out of the question to go to 102k. It's not out of the question to even go to 120k, and that will be our divergent high. And yeah, and then we'll probably bear div again, and then come back down and do the bear market somewhere back in here. I do think we will revisit this sort of like 50k, 50-60k region again in the bear market. But yeah, I didn't even realize that this had printed at the start of April. 2 weeks ago.
Was it bull divs?
Hidden bull div on the weekly. Yeah, printed on the old bitty. So yeah,
Yeah, that's epic.
pretty darn interesting. But yeah, Lil Chonk just said a
Moon this
series
baby.
of podcasts from the MDX Algo team would be really cool. Maybe we should do one
Yeah, man, we
in
should all.
divs. Put it on the website.
Yeah, we should do one where like every question we have to have a shot, and we just get absolutely literally smashed by answering questions.
That would be jokes, man.
Honestly, it's, the MDX 100K party is going to basically be like a live like obviously I stream live, but I'm saying it'll be like a physically live drunk stream. It would
Yeah,
just be me actually sitting there,
on
with
the
you guys just
decks.
getting.
You're gonna be on the decks, just
I'll be
like.
I'll, I'll be on the I'll be on the microphone, yeah, spinning up. Yeah, so legends. Hadrian's Wall was a fuck up. It's gonna get hilarious.
Just start rambling like, guys, do you know about the Roman Empire? Do you know what they did with Hadrian's Wall?
The funny thing is as well, like the staff. So I've been in like chatting to the directors and everything. They were trying to make it out that I wasn't allowed on the stage. And I
Oh,
was like,
come
guys, like
on.
I'm gonna have to call off the event because they were like, you need a permit. I was like, fuck off. So I got a permit for the DJ, and I just said, look, guys, if I can't go on stage, I not simply don't want to do the event. And they were like, okay, we'll make an exception. I was like, fucking hell, like
Why
if
can't
I
you go
had
on
never have put my
stage?
foot
What?
down
That's so weird. Is it against the law?
because they have a well, you need a permit. So if you're in the DJ booth, you have to be a DJ with a permit to play music, other people's music with licensing. And also they said that because they have $30,000 worth of equipment, they don't let people in because like people are getting pissed and whatever, they
Yeah.
might fuck it up. And I just said, look, guys, personal guarantee, I will be drunk, but if I break anything, I'll fucking give you the money. And they were just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they know you're good for it, man. MC and
Well,
stuff,
they
they don't get
don't
it.
because yeah, they don't because I am going to be literally glittery jump, probably spitting and falling over and spilling drinks all over their DJ equipment. But that would be an added additional cost to the event.
Yeah, yeah. You'll be alright. The sponsors will take some of it if you do another one, if it goes well.
Right, honestly, the sponsors I've drilled in like nearly 100k. The sponsors 30k. The whole event's like probably if you take into account all the drinks and everything, it's probably like a 200k thing.
Damn.
But yeah, no, but no. The thing is, the drinks, like the big bottles and stuff. I'm not obviously paying for everyone's drinks, but there will be a
Just
bar tab and everything that will get blasted, and then everyone will just get on whatever they want. There's beers. There's going to be the MDX bar. It's going to be hilarious. Like,
it's gonna be sick, man. It's so funny that you named them like Liquidator and shit. That's hilarious. Oh
yeah,
man, it's gonna
pump
be
it.
great.
We got pump.
You've been literally talking about this
Mm.
since 2020 as well. Or 2020, 2021.
Mate, imagine like I can hardly even sleep. I'm so excited. I'm just so up, mate. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. And also, I've been in Bitcoin for so long. I don't know how many guys have been in this chat now, but like I remember when Bitcoin was like fucking this little thing which no one even seriously, like my dad was like, no, there's no get rich quick scheme, Max. It's just for drug dealers. And I'm thinking to myself like, maybe you're wrong, but we were thinking maybe they're right. Like there was a point where a lot
Yeah,
of us was like, maybe Bitcoin is just that. Maybe
yeah,
Bitcoin is going to be like, an equivalent thing would be like tokens in a game. Like we didn't know that it was going to be this, and like we also had that like vision of maybe one day a country will buy it. But now it's like the US fucking government are going to be buying it. It's fucking epic, man. It's the biggest come up story for anyone who's gone from like poverty to riches in Bitcoin. It's like the ultimate like Rocky movie. It's like the fucking Tarantino's like making movies about this. It's sick.
yeah. It is fucking sick, man. I haven't been in Bitcoin that long, but I definitely like understand it. Like I know that people,
Hey, there
especially
was
early
no way. Like I
adopters who
made,
believed in it and understood it, man. Like honestly, they deserve it, bro.
bro.
It's so sick.
There was no way. Like I made money in trading before, but if it wasn't for Bitcoin and everything like that, for me to have got to where I am now
Mm,
at like at 27, I was like killing it. Now I'm 32. Like it's just crazy. So like it's such a great thing for younger generations to have managed to make this type of gain. Obviously, not everyone. Like there's been winners and there's been losers, but like for Bitcoin hodlers to get to the position they're in, it's just good for the world, man, because there's a lot of young money in crypto, and
yeah,
people who are young are more inclined to make investments. If it was never for Bitcoin, money would still be floating around the fucking venture capital areas and investment endowments and shit. It'd just be boring. Like the world's more interesting with young people with money, for sure. Like even the 100k party, like this is going to be 600 people turning up to an event in Dubai, blazing hot sun, playing sick music, which no one plays in these venues because it's all old men who own them. Like it's just bringing a new fucking like world of energy to the fucking globe.
yeah, man. Proper full circle moment, especially for you guys who have been in it since like 16, 17, a little bit
Mm.
longer, like 10 years,
Well,
nearly
if you
10
guys
years.
get to enjoy a nice beach, if you guys get to enjoy a beach party on my expense, for that's all good.
I'm gonna have to buy you some wagyu dinner after, because you're gonna be broke.
I just got another bucket hat. That guy who was at the door then just delivered me another sample of bucket hats. So we're gonna have two different types. We'll probably have 100, and we'll just give loads of bucket hats to everyone.
Let's go, man. I want a t-shirt. T-shirt would be sick as well. We
Yeah,
need
I
to
need to
actually
just
do a
like
proper
rant. I
like
don't.
merch thing.
I found the guy. I've taken ages to do it because I'm completely. I'm not putting out. I'm not putting out merchandise like everyone else, where it's like T-mill or something, and it's just shit. Like I found a really, really good like almost an artist. So like when I do launch the merch, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be like really, really like loads of amazing little things, like the embroidery on it, like the actual fabric. It's gonna have lots of little callbacks and throwbacks to things in Bitcoin. It's gonna have like cool logos, and it's gonna be made of good material. So when they come out, they're not gonna be cheap. Like I'll probably be
Yeah.
selling bucket hats for like $100. But the thing is, it will be $100 bucket hat, but it will mean something way more than the piece of fabric it's made of. It will like be something which essentially, because the thing about bucket hats, right? You don't wear them every day. I have a wall of bucket hats, but each one represents somewhere I've been. I have a whole wall of them, bro. I have about 50 bucket hats.
And you
And
remember
I
what
just
you were
look at them and
doing
I
at
think,
that
yep,
time.
100%, brother. I got the Jurassic Park ones, obviously. I've got my Jaws bucket hats. I've got my Nike ones. I got
That
the
one's
PlayStation
sick.
2 bucket hat.
That one's sick. That's my
That's an
favorite.
I just look at it and I'm just like, yeah, man, play PS fucking 2. But yeah, I'll give out a few. But when I launch the site, definitely give everyone in the community a massive discount. Maybe even just give out a load of for free. But for people who want to buy them, I'm probably going to spend $50 to make each one. But it's going to be like a really nice thing. And I'd rather do that. I'd rather sell 100 amazing bucket hats than 10,000, which is shit. Because
Mm.
people don't want to look at a shit bucket hat. It needs to look sick.
Needs to be good quality as well.
It needs to have like fins on it. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have like little things popping off it, Viking shit. You know, it's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, come on.
Anyway,
Anyway, let's wrap it up here because I've been on for an hour and a half so far. I'm gonna
you
stop my
legend.
recording. And